everyone, and welcome to Autism Hope Library. I'm really excited about our next guest. I met her through Facebook and talked to her probably 4 or 5 years ago regarding stem cells and autism, and her story is so inspirational. She actually inspired me to do stem cells with my own son. So welcome, Marty Kelley. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to be talking about a mother's journey with stem cells. And if anyone's watching and they've ever looked into stem cells, most likely your name has popped up because you are a huge advocate in the stem cell world. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about, what did your son look like before stem cells?
My son was very severe. He was 8 years old. He couldn't really hold a conversation or talk to me. He had a very limited vocabulary. He was still in diapers at 8. I was on the verge of putting him into an institution. He couldn't talk. He was probably more like a 3-year-old at the age of 8, and he weighed 35 pounds, Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what was his prognosis from the doctors at that time?
He was autistic, severely autistic. His IQ, I had him at Boston Children's, his IQ was 58, which they said was also, mentally MR.
Yeah. And so now, fast forward a little bit after his first treatment. I mean, this story is so inspirational, but what happened after his first treatment of stem cells?
Well, he went from diapers to highly functioning, basically. Our son started talking for the first time. He started talking about the past for the first time, and he potty trained and he started reading, which I never thought my son would do. And it was like I was watching his brain grow before my eyes. It was like I was watching every day new connections every day for the first time in our lives.
Now, did you see it instantly after stem cells, or did it take some time?
We did see it instantly, and obviously there was ups and downs and there was lulls, but instantly he started talking more. He started sleeping. Like, one of the big things we saw was like, oh, he would sleep till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And you and I both know how important sleep is to children that are developing, regular children. So this is a huge sign. And then 9 months later, he completely toilet trained and he started reading. So 9 months was a huge wow. Too.
Now, what were you doing prior to stem cells? I know you were doing different diets and supplements and had tried so many other things.
Prior to stem cells, we probably spent about $400,000. We went to the top doctors in the world for autism at the time. We bought a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. I had it in-home. We spent 900 hours in that hyperbaric oxygen chamber. We did intense diet called specific carbohydrate diets. Mm-hmm. And so we did that for 2 years. We had him on about 60 vitamins and supplements a day, where we divide out and give him that. We just did the top-notch things we could do, biomedical intervention for him.
And then after stem cells, did you continue? You had said you did 900 hours in the hyperbaric. Did you continue the hyperbaric? Did you continue the supplements? Did you continue the diet?
After stem cells, we did diet for about a year, but we dropped everything. We did nothing. I haven't done a thing since 2009. In June, we went for that treatment. We haven't done any biomed since. It was a relief because we'd spent 3 years in biomed at the time. It was intense. And to just be able to drop it like that and have no detrimental effect on his behavior. I was on the verge to take him into an institution when we found stem cells. Like, I was seriously ready to lock him up.
Wow.
Because he was not safe to live in our home.
Yeah. And I remember there was a story, I think he was in the car or something. I remember you had told me, and he was like banging on the windows and just going, like, literally having, what we would think of as a meltdown, but even greater than that, to a child after stem cells. That was just like your son was back.
He's the sweetest child you'll ever meet. He just went from really violent to an angel.
Wow. Now, how many treatments has he had so far?
Well, I want to stress that we saw improvements with the first treatment. And when you see something like that, do you say, oh, I'm never going back there again. I'm not going to ever do stem cells again. Look at the great results we got. I'm not going back. Or do you let's get more? Why not? So we had the money. We went about every year for about 4 treatments, five treatments. And then when he was 14, we stopped. So what was the question?
Oh, how many treatments has he had? So he's had up to 5 by the age of 14. So has he gone? I know he's a little older than that now. So has he gone past the age of 14?
Yeah, we started again. I don't know. I don't know how old he was when we stopped. It was like the age of 9 to like 12, 13. And then we started again when he was like 16. And I think we've done 3 more since then. He's 19 now.
Okay. I know we've done 2 with our son, and and I know that everybody's different of, so we still do biomedical, we still do diet intervention. And so I want to stress people that are either we're watching or listening, because either you're watching this on our videos or you're listening on our podcast. Everybody is different, but I have to say, we definitely saw great gains with stem cells. We definitely believe we're going to go back as well. And so it's really an amazing therapy. Now, I know Panama is where we went to the Stem Cell Institute. And one of the main reasons was I had read your story and I had talked with you and, heard all about your son. And then really learned a lot about the differences between Panama and some other places. I know, to me, you're the expert when it comes to that, when it comes to parents out there going to Panama. What makes Panama so special to get this treatment versus other places out there doing it?
Well, I want to stress the fact that it's considered adult stem cells. It is after the baby's born. It is donor umbilical cord from healthy live births. So it's not embryonic, it's not fetal, and it's totally, acceptable as far as, what do they call that? Like ethical.
Mm-hmm.
What makes Panama different than the other clinics is they are top notch. They have a $15 million laboratory. The cells go through a rigorous process. They're considered one of the top labs in the world, and they're always improving their quality. So and
I know you go for I know we did. I'm assuming yours was the same protocol. You're there for 5 days. It's such a beautiful place. I remember the first time we went, we had to go outside to a clinic, but now the clinic, the last time we went, was actually built within the hotel. So it's super easy for the families. The Hilton was really, really nice. They absolutely understand children with autism of all ages. You don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, they're making too much noise. They were, really fantastic with our diet, making sure that, all of our foods were there. I didn't have to stress as a mom if he had a meltdown. I really loved our second time versus our first time, because the clinic was outside the hotel. It was a little bit stressed, trying to get in the shuttle, trying to get there. The second time was fantastic because all you have to do is go from your room to the elevator, go all the way to the top, and you're there. I mean, it really couldn't get any easier.
yeah, it's really convenient. I mean, the reason to go to Panama, there's many reasons. And as you research, you get to learn more and more. I definitely stress researching, and definitely what works for us and where, it doesn't work for everybody. It's just a way that we really saw a miracle. And, compared to like different treatments, I don't know if so, I mean, as far as why we go to Panama, they just have a cell expansion. A lot of clinics do not have the ability to do cell expansion. And that's the key. Cell expansion is where they take the cells and they can purify them and differentiate them in the laboratory. So that's why the $15 million laboratory is such a huge thing, because they have a protocol that is patented that they don't really express to people. So they're the only clinic that really has this protocol. And they're always improving it. Like when I first went for stem cells with my son, he got 12 million CD34 stem cells and only 24 million MSCs. And now I think it's like 100 million MSCs.
Wow.
They've really improved. And when we went was over 10 years ago. And like my son's still great. He's still healthy. I never lost any of the changes. So that was, nothing's ever regressed.
Now, you did talk a little bit about, what are stem cells you're talking about. They're from, live. They're not, from the cells after a baby's born. Let's talk a little bit about exactly what are stem cells and why are they so important in the body?
Yes. So I don't know if you had asked, or we want to know, like a lot of places are popping up in the US that will say that they're going to give you stem cells. And what you actually may get is cells. So I think I've learned in my daughter's 9th grade science, there is a difference between cells and stem cells. So stem cells actually can divide and they can make other types of cells like the brain, cells, heart cells, or blood cells. So like one stem cell can actually divide and make more cells, whereas a cell doesn't do that. So as far as USA clinics go, stem cells are not legal in the US. So if you see a place offering stem cells, it's buyer beware. It's not FDA approved for autism anywhere, unless it's in a clinical trial like Duke. So just be really careful as far as that go. It's definitely not legal to treat kids with autism in the USA with stem cells.
No, they can use stem cells for other stuff though in the US, just not autism. Isn't that correct?
They do stem cells for other things like bone and arthritis, but it's either fat or bone marrow. It's not, it's definitely not umbilical cord. Duke is running a clinical trial with your own cord and things like that. So Duke is obviously not illegal.
Yeah.
But just be careful, because you can wind up causing more harm. And, this is your child. So you don't want to just be like, and a lot of these doctors don't even know that what they're buying and what they're injecting is not necessarily stem cells.
Well, and I know that I've seen some clinics in the US pop up and off label, right? So they don't say it's for autism, but like quote unquote off label. And I know what I paid in Panama, and I know that they're charging nearly the same price here in the US for cells that aren't what you're saying legal, or even we don't actually know what they are because there's nobody really regulating it. Where for me, Panama, it was just, it was so amazing what they've done with their clinic. The doctors are beyond brilliant. This is kind of like, not kind of, this is what they do. Like this is their protocol for autism is what a lot of people are trying to copy. And to me, it was like, I didn't want to go to a copycat. I wanted to go to the original. And so that's why Panama was so important. So I'm sure there might be other clinics out there, outside of our country in the US. I don't know about them personally. Obviously, I've seen some success stories from other places. I would just really, really emphasize making sure you know as much as you can about the doctors, as much as you can about their process, making sure that you are getting what you're paying for and what is their protocol if there are side effects. Talk to other parents that have been there. I know when I was looking into stem cell and I had reached out to Marty, I didn't know you prior to that. And, just listening to her, she was great. She got on the phone with me as a mom, talking to me because I was confused. I mean, there was so much out there. And I was like, well, if we don't have to go to Panama, we could go here instead. But really, with autism, there's nothing ever easy, right? If there was something easy, you'd be like, sure, no problem. So, we got on an airplane and we went to Panama because that's where, in our minds, that's where the original was. That's where the best was. And again, I can only speak on my own personal experience, just like Marty can. But I'm very grateful to have been able to have that opportunity that you did, return my call when I was this mom going, I don't know what this is about. So for families, that are still kind of like, stem cells, let's talk about what they do in the body, because I know a lot of people really don't understand that still.
Okay, well, as far as what stem cells do, they do a lot of healing. They home into the areas of damage and they do repair. They help with inflammation. So you're looking at like new blood vessel formation in areas of the brain, maybe that hadn't got oxygen before, new capillaries and things that are able to form and carry oxygen to different parts of the brain that was blocked. You're looking at gut inflammation being healed. My son is totally off diet, and he has been without any behavioral changes. So, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I really don't know the science behind it. I'm just a mom in Maine. So,
well, you're a mom in Maine that figured out how to help your kiddo, and you've helped thousands of other families just with your story. So you're not just a mom, you are this awesome warrior mama that's out there going, hey, I'm not going to give up,
I definitely recommend reading Stem Cell Therapy, A Rising Tide by Dr. Reardon, who is the founder of the clinic that we use in Panama. That helps a lot with the science and what the stem cells do. Also, I do have a Facebook group, which is great to talk to other parents that have gone. Just remember, like, if you are looking at other clinics in Mexico, you want to look at the laboratory process. You want to see, like, a lot of clinics in Mexico, they only have like a cheap centrifuge, which spins cells. They'll do bone. They don't have the ability to do the cell expansion which is why the $16 million lab is important. So there's different things like that. And people are free to call me anytime. My phone number's on the internet. You can call me any day or night or text me or add me as a friend on Facebook.
Well, you know, and again, I think that moms out there listening, or dads, or, you know, if you're a guardian of a special needs individual, you know, we're all in this together. We really are. And we all learn from each other. So I'm just so grateful that you did take that time with me several years ago to talk to me about the differences. And even when I went, you know, for us, it wasn't a vacation. And I think that's what a lot of people are like, oh, let's make a vacation. I don't know anybody that thinks autism's a vacation, because if you've ever traveled with your kiddo who has autism and you're on a special diet and you have all this other stuff going on with medications, going to another country, I don't care if it's paradise or not, that is not a vacation. And I will say that Panama was just so wonderful. Like, but we literally get off the airplane, somebody's there to greet you. They take care of you and hold your hand the entire time. And again, they're just amazing. And you know, with all transparency now for everybody watching or listening, because of my time there and getting to know them, they are a partner of Autism Hope Alliance. I did talk to them and ask them, please partner with us, because it made sense for them to be one of our partners. You know, and I'm very proud of that, because I really believe in what they do. If you know me, that you know that I believe in all of our partners, and the Stem Cell Institute, I just truly, truly, truly believe in what they do. So
I don't think they partner with anyone. So I think you're like the only one that I've heard of that.
Well, I love that, because I think I just such a fan of theirs. And I just love that there's options. And again, for people listening, it's not, you know, accessible to everybody. It's not cheap. There are different ways that you can raise money, whether it be through a GoFundMe or family, or however you guys figure that out. I wish insurance would cover it. It doesn't. I do believe one day, hopefully in our lifetime, we'll be able to bring it here to the US with their technology, and, you know, get to work with amazing doctors like them, and maybe it will be covered. But right now it's still cutting edge. And we're just so grateful that there are therapies out there, and there's families like Marty that have, you know, started on this pathway that we can follow. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to watch what other people are doing. So, you know, I know families that are watching and listening right now, Marty, you know how it feels. You were there before. You know that there's moments where you feel sad and hopeless and you don't know what to do. And, you know, what words of encouragement do you have for families right now that really just don't know what to do or where to turn?
It was such a roller coaster before this happened. Like you said, going to another country with autism is not a vacation, but there was never vacations anyway.
Mm-hmm.
My advice is you're going to be scared. You know, you don't know the unknown, but combat that fear with research. You know, don't be afraid to jump, just do it. Research so your fears are gone, and you have to make this step. You have to do it when the kid is young, you know, when you have the time. I've talked to parents 10 years ago that still haven't gone, and their kids, what, 12, 14, 16? And guess what? I bet they have regrets. You know, you don't want to live life with regrets. Don't be afraid. Do your research. As far as I know, there's no side effects to it that are detrimental.
Well, I love that. Again, it's when you have to follow your gut. You have to, you know, for me, it's when you get confused, don't think about anything for 3 days. That's what I do when there's just too much coming at me. And then whatever comes to my mind after that third day, that's usually what my gut's trying to tell me, like, hey, get some more information on that. Maybe follow that path. And again, Marty will talk to you. I promise you, like, she's just amazing. She has amazing Facebook groups, and definitely take her up on that offer, because there's probably going to be a time, Marty, in your life that you're going to be like, okay, I'm moving on to do something else. I've helped thousands of people. So right now you're still doing it. And I, as a mom, am just so, so grateful for that.
There will never be that time. And I will tell you, it's hard to know who to trust, but I will tell you that I try to be as honest as possible with people, and it's our honest to goodness story. My son went from some severely autistic in diapers to highly functioning. And as far as I'm concerned, he's just about cured or better. So just don't be afraid. Combat that fear with research.
I love it. And just never give up. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for being here today. I appreciate it. I know your schedule's crazy. She's in the car with her daughter at a tennis match, and she's like, no, I'm coming on. I'm going to make sure we provide hope today. So I really, really appreciate that. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
And thank you to everyone watching. Until next time. Bye, guys.